Have you ever found yourself looking at an old photograph, feeling that lump in your throat, as if time had stopped in that instant? It's as if your heart insists on holding on to that person who is no longer here. And at the same time, deep down, you feel a longing, a fear, a doubt. Can I be happy again? Do I have the right to love again? That's why I wanted to sit here with you today, as if it were in your kitchen, with a hot cup of coffee in hand, just to have this conversation that many people avoid. Because I know how much it hurts. I know how hard it is to imagine life without that person who walked by your side for so many years. And even harder is to imagine that your heart could beat for someone again. But the truth is, it can. And more than that, you deserve it. I remember a neighbor of mine, Mrs. Olga. She was widowed at 66. She once told me, "I feel like my heart has turned gray, as if all the color in my life has gone with it." And I understood, because we learn to love so completely that when someone leaves, we feel like there's nothing left inside us. It's as if our entire capacity for happiness is tied to that story that ended. But it didn't. It continues, only now in a new way, in a way that's uniquely yours. And I know it's not easy to get to that point where you can still be happy, because longing is stubborn. It doesn't go away just because you want it to. Sometimes it hits you when you least expect it, when you sit at the table and the chair next to you is empty, when you hear that song you both loved, when you make the coffee just the right amount he liked. It's in these little things that longing lives, and we learn to live with it. But living with longing doesn't mean you have to put your life on hold. It doesn't mean you have to close the door to everything new that might come your way. I see so many good people, so many generous people, who spend all their years caring for others, caring for their families, and when they find themselves alone, they think it's over for them. But it's not. Because love isn't just that story you lived. Love is also what can still happen. I'm not saying you'll forget the person who left. That doesn't exist. The memory of the person you loved will always be there, tucked away in a corner of your heart. It's like a book you read, which transformed you, but which is now on the shelf. You can pick it up from time to time, recall the most beautiful stories, but you can also pick up a new book. And that doesn't erase the other. It just shows that you're still alive, that your heart keeps beating. I remember Donna Olga again. One day she told me she was afraid to talk to a man who had invited her for coffee. She said, "What if I'm betraying my husband's memory? What if I'm doing something wrong?" I held her hand and said, "Donna Olga, loving again isn't betraying anyone. It's honoring the life he wanted you to have. Do you think he would want to see you sad, alone, feeling less worthy of love? Of course not. He loved your joy, your laughter, and that's what he would want to keep seeing. And you might think so too. The person who left wouldn't want you to see you trapped in sadness, because those who truly love us want to see us happy. They want to see us with our heads held high. They want to see us start over. And starting over doesn't have to be a huge step. It doesn't have to be rushed. It can just be a coffee with someone. It can just be opening your heart to a new friendship, to a new companion. It doesn't have to be a relationship, a marriage. It can just be the pleasure of meeting someone new, of exchanging stories, of laughing again. Sometimes that's all your heart needs to realize it's still capable. I know a lot of people look at you sideways. A lot of people judge. Sometimes your own children don't understand. Sometimes your friends don't support you. But no one lives your life for you. Only you know the pain you carry.
Only you know the depth of the silence inside your home. Only you know the weight of lying alone every night. So only you have the right to decide whether or not to open your heart again. And I tell you, looking into your eyes now, you can. Yes, you can. There's no age limit to start over. There's no age limit to allow yourself to smile again. There's no age limit to feel desired, important, loved. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 80. What matters is what you decide to do with your time from now on. I want you to take a deep breath right now and think, I deserve to be happy. I have a right to this. Because you do. And it's not selfish to want this. It's not ingratitude to those who have already left. It's just a beautiful way to keep moving forward. And sometimes I think love is like a garden. We tend to flower for years. It grows, blooms, fills our lives with perfume and color. But one day, that flower withers, and we can stare at the dry earth mourning what we've lost, or we can plant a new seed. It will be different. It will have a different color, a different scent, but it will fill your garden with life once again. And that's why I wanted to tell you today, don't be afraid to plant again. Don't be afraid to make room for something to flourish. So, tell me, is your heart ready for this conversation? Because I have more to tell you about how to take those first steps, how to get this weight off your chest and see new possibilities. And I'll tell you right now, because I know you can do it. I keep thinking starting over is one of those steps no one teaches us. No one prepares us for it. When we're young, they talk a lot about how to start a relationship, how to choose the right person, how to take care of a marriage, but no one talks about what to do when life decides to change plans and leaves us alone in the middle of the road. And I know there are days when it feels like nothing makes sense. You wake up and think, why get ready? Why leave the house? Why smile at anyone if half of me is left behind? I understand. I felt that way too. And that's why I want to remind you today that you're not alone. You're not the only person who feels this emptiness. And most importantly, it doesn't mean your story is over. The other day I was talking to a man named Seo Raimundo. He's 73 years old, and he told me something that stuck with me. He said, at first I thought starting over was betraying her memory, that I was being ungrateful for all the years she cared for me. But then I realized I just wanted to be happy again, and that if she could see me, she would smile when she saw me smiling. And that's exactly it. Sometimes we feel guilty for even thinking about making room in our hearts again, as if it were a sin to be happy again. But it's not. You're not erasing anything you've experienced. You're not replacing anyone. You're just accepting that there's still life in you. So, how do you get started? There's no secret. The first step is very small. Allow yourself to do so. You don't need to set a goal, sign up for anything, or go out there desperately. Only if you allow yourself to do so. If someone asks you out for coffee, say yes. If a friend wants to introduce you to someone or even just take you to a new group, accept. Just go to see what it's like. Go just to hear other voices, see other faces. Some people think that just because time has passed, they no longer can experience certain emotions. But let me tell you, we feel fear and butterflies in our stomach at any age. We feel insecure, embarrassed, and self-conscious. It's normal. It's human. But you know what? It also gives us a nice chill, makes us want to choose a nice outfit, and feels good about receiving a compliment. These things have no expiration date. I always say, it's not about looking for someone to replace the person who left. It's about finding someone who matches the person you are today.
Because you've changed too, haven't you? We change with every pain, every loss, every morning we wake up alone and decide to live another day. So now, you deserve someone who matches the new you. And maybe you're thinking, oh, but I'm not that attractive anymore. I'm not that interesting anymore. Who would want someone my age? I hear that so much. But it's not true. It's really not true. You have history. You have wisdom. You have a tenderness that only age gives us. It's all beautiful. It's not looks that truly win you over. It's the way you look, the way you listen, the way you care. And you still have all of that inside you. I remember a friend of mine, Marina. She was widowed early, at 61. She spent 4 years cooped up at home, wanting nothing, until one day she was invited to a senior citizens dance. She went just to please a friend, and at that dance, sitting in the corner, a man asked her to dance. She said she was embarrassed, but accepted. And that same night, she returned home with a smile she hadn't seen in years. Today, 10 years later, she still dances with him every week. That's how it starts. It doesn't have to be a huge romance right away. It could just be an invitation to dance. It could just be company for ice cream on a Sunday. Love doesn't need to arrive from a mansion, dressed in a ball gown. It can arrive in slippers, slowly, just to remind you that you can still feel joy again. And when others ask or criticize or try to make you give up, take a deep breath. Remember that this is your life. You're the one who takes care of your heart. No one else has the right to tell you how you should feel or who you should love. I know fear will creep in. You'll get butterflies in your stomach. You'll think, what if I get hurt again? What if it doesn't work out? But my dear, what if it does? What if you discover a new reason to smile? What if you feel alive, wanted, happy again? You'll never know if you don't try. So take your time, respect your time, but don't hide behind it. Don't close yourself off to the opportunities that may arise. Just by listening to this conversation today, you've already taken the first step. Just by being here with me now, you've already started thinking differently. And I'm so happy to know you're here listening to me, because I know you have enormous strength within you. You didn't get here by accident. You've overcome so much in this life. This is just another mountain to climb. And believe me, there's a beautiful path waiting for you up there. And I wanted to keep following you for a little while longer, because I have more to tell you about how to take care of your heart during this process. Because starting over isn't just about letting someone new in. It's also about learning to love, respect, and value yourself again. I know you can do it, and I'm going to help you remember that now. And you know, I look at you now, there, on the other side of this screen, and I think, how many beautiful things still fit inside this heart? You may even think otherwise. You may even feel like your chest is filled only with longing and pain. But that's not true, because longing doesn't take up much space. It just stays there, stored away, like a little box of precious memories. And the rest of the space? It's all yours. I wanted you to know that starting over isn't just about finding someone. Starting over is also about finding yourself again. Because sometimes we get a little lost along the way. We live for others, care for others, mourn those who are no longer here, and forget to take care of ourselves. But you deserve affection. You deserve respect. You deserve to look in the mirror and like what you see. The other day I heard a lady say to me, "Oh, but I'm not as beautiful as I used to be." And I said to her, "My dear, you were all you could be back then. Now you're a different woman with a different beauty." The beauty of someone who has lived, loved, cried, and yet is still here, strong. That is the rarest beauty. So, before opening your heart to someone else, open it to yourself. Start slowly. Get ready for yourself. Choose a nice outfit just to go to the bakery, just to look in the mirror and feel good. Buy that perfume you like, not to please anyone, but to feel alive again. Dust off those forgotten dreams and pursue them. Get back to doing the things you love, whether it's sewing, painting, dancing, cooking, or walking. All of this is a way of telling yourself, I love myself enough to keep going. And then, when you least expect it, someone will cross your path. It could be at the supermarket, at a family party, on the bus, or in a social group. It will be when you've reconnected with yourself, and therefore you'll be ready to look to the side and smile without fear. And please, don't be ashamed to show that you want to be happy again. Life has no set age for love. The heart doesn't age. It just waits for us to give it another chance. And it doesn't matter what others say. It doesn't matter if someone turns up their nose, if someone criticizes. The one who lives your loneliness is you. The one who faces the silence of cold nights is you. So, the one who has the right to choose to be happy again is you too. I'd like you to take away a beautiful image. Think of the sea. The sea is never the same. Some days it's calm, sparkling in the sun. Some days it's rough with huge waves. Some days it's gray and dull. And yet it always renews itself. The waves come, go, come again. So is your heart. It can renew itself too. Even when you think it can't. Even when it seems too late, you can always start over. And I'd like to invite you to tell me in the comments, what are you feeling? What was the biggest challenge for you after being alone? Have you ever thought about opening your heart again, or are you still gathering courage? Tell me. I really want to hear your story, and who knows, maybe other people here will also feel inspired by you. If this video touched you in any way, if it reminded you of someone who also deserves to hear these words, share it with them. Send it to a friend, a neighbor, or a relative who's going through something similar. Sometimes just hearing that they're not alone gives someone the strength to take the first step. And never forget, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to experience moments of joy, affection, and complicity. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you've been alone. It doesn't matter how many tears you've cried. There's still time. There are still many good things waiting for you. I believe in you. I know you can do it. So lift your head, smile, and slowly let life surprise you again. See you in the next video, okay? Take good care of yourself, because you still have so many beautiful things to live.